What is it like being a man and spending a lifetime looking at white people and complaining about them and trying to get them to let you be a supremacist or a real man? I can't imagine living a lifetime thinking that some other man, whether he's white, black, Jewish, whatever it might be, Asian, is holding me back in life. As a man yourself,
right?
What does that feel like?
Jesse Lee Peterson has to be one of the most effective trolls on the internet. Half of the time I don't know whether he's serious or not, whether he's joking. He just has this deadpan face that just makes everything all the more hilarious. So he had this conversation with Tariq Nasheed, a black guy, who claims that the reason why white people are better is because they are smarter, or that other races are not as smart as they are. So let's jump into this conversation.
I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. I haven't spoken to my guest in a while. I have with me Tariq Nasheed. He's an author and film producer who also calls himself an anti-racism advocate. It's good to see you again, man.
It's good. How the hell did I get back here? But what's up, Jesse?
We had a good time on the radio show.
We did.
What is an anti-racism advocate?
Yeah, I'm an anti-racism strategist. I look up for ways to try to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice, because unfortunately we're in a global system where white supremacy dominates all areas of activity. So we need to replace that system with a just system.
Define white supremacy.
White supremacy means people who believe through speech, thought, and action that they should dominate, control, and mistreat people classified as non-white. And we're dominated by that system completely globally.
How do you know that?
Because they said it. The people who put white supremacy in action, they specifically said that they were doing that. You go back to the so-called forefathers of this nation, and even in some of the European nations, they specifically said we're going to create a system of white supremacy where the people who are classified as non-white will be the inferiors. And they put these things into law, they put them into practice, and they put them into military defense. They defended these laws militarily, and that's where we are now.
And you said globally they've done this.
Globally, absolutely.
And so white people are smarter than black people, and have they done this to all other people? Or
yeah,
just
all people.
black
All people. No, all people are dominated.
All people of color.
All people who are classified as non-white, they are dominated by the white supremacists.
So how are white people God's chosen people?
No.
Because you say no?
No.
Then why were they able to sit down and make a decision like that? We're going to build a system that control all people of color. We're going to do this and do that, and then the people of color have fallen into that.
Great
so
question.
somebody had to be smart and somebody had to be dumb.
Yep.
And it's
Now that's a very interesting point that Jesse Lee Peterson is making, because it's not enough for you to have a plan, but for you to actually be able to execute that plan with near perfection has to show that, well, you're competent to an extent. So if you're claiming that these people actually sat down and, drafted out an agenda to dominate the world, and then they actually put it into practice, you got to give them some props that, well, you're pretty smart for doing something like that.
It seems to me that the people of color are the dumb one, because as you said, it's the white people who are making this happen, right?
I agree 100%.
And why not overcome being dumb rather than trying to stop the smart man from doing what he does?
Because non-white people are too dumb to get smart.
Really?
Yeah.
So if all non-white people are too dumb to get smart, how do you think that this thing that you're fighting for is ever going to change? That's an admission that white supremacy is always going to dominate, because I don't see how you can topple white supremacy if other peoples are just not smart enough, if they are dumb. So how are you going to do that? The smart ones are always going to turn out at the top. So your belief, your idea is already defeating your stated goals or aims.
White supremacists, and I separate white people and white supremacists. There's three people, as our brother Neely Fuller said, on the planet. You have white, non-white, and white supremacists. The white supremacists are the smartest people on the planet. I 100% agree with that.
Wow. And God made them that way?
No, and God didn't make them that way, but they just evolved that way because they knew that their numbers were low in the global scheme of the planet. So they had to come up with ways to survive, and they had to come up with codes. So they had to codify their actions with each other to dominate the rest of the planet. And people who are non-white, they haven't figured out those codes, and they don't understand that they have to have codes in order to combat that. So we're still fighting over tribal bullshit. And that's our problem as people who are victims of white supremacy. And we haven't been smart enough to figure that out. So I agree with you to that extent.
That's amazing.
What nonsense is this guy talking about? You are victims of white supremacy. But the reason why you're victims of white supremacy in the first place is because you are simply not smart enough. Well, that's not white supremacy's problem. That's your problem for not being smart enough. Because life is about competition, and people are going to try to compete to come out at the top. And if you, as you say, the white supremacists are the smartest people, then they have come out at the top. All is fair in love and war. So I don't know what is Babylon about.
Yeah.
Um,
And it doesn't have to do with God, you know, just because somebody's
God
dominating.
made human beings,
okay,
and
just
so
because.
it would have to have something to do with him.
Well,
If he made white people smart, and you sound like he only made a few white people smart enough to control the world, and make people of color do what they want to do.
So if you can dominate people
and control them.
So let me understand what you're asking. So if you can dominate people and control people, God made you smarter.
No, well, there are evil people who can do that too.
Right. So I agree. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of white supremacists.
But
they are
still
evil. It's not
controlling
God.
dumb people, because you have to be dumb to allow someone to even to manipulate and control you. But I want to ask you this.
Well, let's unpack that though. I don't want to lose that. That was very interesting. And I would have to ask you: were Jewish people in Nazi Germany dumb for being dominated by Hitler?
There are, and you mentioned the Jews. There are white people who are blaming the Jews for their situation.
Right.
If these people are so smart, why can't they manipulate the Jews too?
If who's smart now?
If the whites are so smart, as you say that they are, supremacists, why can't they control the Jews?
Okay, you have to define what a Jewish person is now, because the definition of Jewish, it kind of fluctuates, because you have Jewish people who are classified as white. So
and are you putting all those in the same basket?
No, because you have Jewish people who are black too, because that's why I want to define what a Jewish person is racially.
So, but when you mention white supremacy,
you overlooked that, brother.
I'm coming to that.
Okay,
so
you got to define what a Jewish person is racially.
First, I'm trying to find out.
But see, back in Nazi Germany, they had a clear definition of what it was racially, because the thing is, the Jewish people were white, but they weren't white enough. So they wanted to get out the mulatto strain out of Europe. They've always done that. Even Stalin did that. There was another Holocaust before that with the Holodomor that they had in the Ukraine. So there's always been this thing of getting out that darker melanated bloodline, no matter how thin it is, out of Europe. They've been doing that for a long time. So
let me
a lot
ask,
of Jewish people are classified as white now. So
are you personally classifying the Jews with the whites that you call white supremacists?
No, because you have white Jews and you have black Jews.
So are any Jews in that category of white supremacy?
Yes, you have Jews in the Klan. There's Jews in the Klan. There's Jews in the alt-right. You have a lot of Jews who do practice white supremacy. Therefore,
and are there blacks in that too?
If they're practicing white supremacy, are they really Jewish? Because white supremacy is its own religion.
Are blacks included in that category as white supremacy as well?
You can't be a black white supremacist.
You said they were black Jews.
Right, but
I
didn't say in the black Jews.
But none of them are white supremacists?
No, because as a matter of fact, over in Israel, the black Jews are being persecuted and punished, and they have lawsuits against people practicing white supremacy on them.
So just to get it right, there are white supremacists, and there are some of them are mixed with white Jews who are white supremacists. And you said there are black Jews, but no black Jews are white supremacists.
What I'm saying,
are you saying that?
Because I don't know, you're kind of muddling all of these definitions, and I want to make it very clear. White supremacy transcends religion. You can't equate race and religion and make it the same thing. Race and religion is two different things.
But according to you, no blacks are a part of the white supremacist movement.
Well, they're black collaborators. They're black collaborators with white supremacy, but they can't be white supremacists themselves. They're still victims of white supremacy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What is it like being a man and spending a lifetime looking at white people and complaining about them and trying to get them to let you be a supremacist or a real man? I can't imagine living a lifetime thinking that some other man, whether he's white, black, Jewish, whatever it might be, Asian, is holding me back in life. As a man yourself,
Right.
what does that feel like?
Well, I don't complain to the white supremacists. All of my messages are for the victims of white supremacy.
Right, but your whole thing is about the white man.
You don't complain to white people about white supremacy, but you're complaining to the victims of white supremacy who by your admission are dumb, they're not smart enough. So how are they even going to get your message in the first place to change anything?
The white
What is
supremacists,
it-
the white supremacists,
what
not
is-
the white man, the white supremacists.
Right,
Let's be
it's
very
still
clear.
about men. They are
No,
white
the white
men.
supremacists, because you have white female supremacists too.
So men and women, white.
White supremacists.